blame, because there's times where I want to take a rocket launcher and shoot these things down, but it's not their fault. Here's ex-President Trump even touring what I believe to be part of it inside a 747. That this is computer generated, but these are, they're not condensation trails. Look at, see the skeleton, the skulls in there. That's actually pretty cool. This, I believe, for sure, 747. There are two huge banks of huge tanks with the plumbing. Look at all the electrical. This definitely, this is the same one, 747, inside the cab, the passenger cabin or cargo cabin area. And they have to distribute these evenly. This might be one of the areas. I don't know if this is for the aerosols or not. I'm not really sure, but I thought I'd take a good picture of it. I think this is on the fuselage, because the aerosol sprays out of these pods here. They're integrated into the airplane. You can't really see it on this particular airplane because it's taken off, but here you could clearly see it. There's an aerosol ejector, which just pumping that stuff out. There's aluminum in there and all kinds of stuff. Look at all the aerosol nozzles on this one, because it's, each nozzle probably sprays out different ingredients, and it all mixes up out here after the plane. Here's another nozzle clearly showing it. This is totally integrated into the design of the airplane. Because these airplanes do not have passengers in them. They're strictly up there doing it. Here's a cockpit that actually shows some of the instrumentation involved in deploying those aerosols. Some of them even have timers. I don't know about this mission patch. It's pretty cool, though. I think somebody probably had this made and put it in there, because I couldn't find it anywhere. But here you can see all the knobs and switches. This one, a flight mechanic took this one and leaked it out on the internet. Here's a toggle switch and timer specifically for chemtrails. They even call them chemtrails, isn't that something? But here's a 4 videos, real short clips of the ISS that Mary monitors all the time. And you can clearly see these artificial clouds here. These are all artificial. With this juicing up the sky all across the entire globe. Of course, they can't cover the entire thing, but they figure any little patch they do is going to help. Any little bit they do is going to help. So again, you can't really, here's, you can see the gravity, well, what they call gravity wave. I think they're all electromagnetic, but these are all artificial. You can see the reflection here, the rainbow, the sun reflecting it, and only reflects on the artificial stuff. See, when it hits the blue there, it disappears. And when it hits real clouds, it disappears, but only the artificial clouds it's reflecting. And that's because it's full of powdered, atomized aluminum and other metals. I believe nickel, I imagine mostly aluminum because it's lightweight and inexpensive. But see it reflecting on these artificial clouds, which are all over the scene. See it down here? All artificial. Some of these are real, but see how that reflection disappeared? Now this is over south in North Dakota as the ISS is going over America. You can see some smoke from the fires in the west and northwest. But you see that these are, the real little small clouds here. But as you're coming up, you could see what could be the smoke, you know what I mean? But these are artificial. For sure. You can always tell when they're streaky and thin. Again, they want them to be thin. They don't want them too thick. They don't want, because it just reflects back. They want it to reflect out. That's what they're doing. This is all artificial here. And then this is a real good clip that's going over Atlantic Ocean, North Atlantic. And when the ISS up here, you can see when it gets right over the middle of the Atlantic, there's like a several hundred square mile patch of artificial, well, I call it juice. They just totally juiced it up here, and you can see it coming up here on the right, of course this International Space Station goes from west to east, and with the rotation of the Earth. But look at this over here, and you can see it reflecting because of all the metals in it, and of course they have HAARP also making these electromagnetic waves. You got to keep in mind, this is like 7-8 miles above the Earth's surface, and this camera on the ISS is 260 miles up. But let me pause this slideshow here. I wanted to show you. This is a picture I took the same day where they were juicing up the skies above the residents here in South Haven, Michigan, Southwest Michigan. I took, up here's a airplane cloud here, obviously, but you could see how hazy it is everywhere. And I took a picture towards the sun and made sure I aimed it to where all the glare was away. And it was a pretty good picture, but you could see the lines here from the electromagnetic, it's basically juicing up the sky. But I couldn't help but notice this, and you could see that this object is on the other side of the haze, the artificial haze. So this is way up there. This could be 8 miles up. And it's clearly a triangle. I believe that to be a craft. It's definitely not anything from the camera lens, I'm telling you, because I took a picture before and after not knowing about this, and then there was absolutely nothing there. But this one clearly shows several objects there, 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 and then up here, and then over here. They're everywhere. I mean, it's just crazy. There's one there. I might have spotted that earlier. But this one's the closest, and it's clearly a triangle. So I just thought that was interesting. But maybe that's why they have to juice it up so much. They have to hide what's going on around our sun. Not to mention, of course, here's that patch again. I don't think they'd have something like this, but it would be interesting if they did. But bringing up the sun, I mean, that's part of the geoengineering. Here's some